Yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
If you're a fan of comic books and comic book conventions, Daytona Beach Comic Con needs to be on your list of must-attend events. It's a show that actually focuses on comic books. Imagine that! This year's event is happening on Saturday, September the 6th, and Sunday, September the 7th. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. There's a new convention in town, and it's sure to be mega fun without the mega expense. Comics, toys, collectibles, pop culture. ShadowCon, Saturday, February 1st, 2025, in Orlando, Florida. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. If you find yourself in the Orlando area, and let's be honest, doesn't everyone come to Orlando for the House of Mouse? Head over to Coliseum of Comics to get your comic book fix. Be sure to check out their location on East Colonial Drive, where they carry a wide selection of independent comics, including Silverline books. Stop by and don't forget to tell them Silverline sent you. Hey, if you're an independent comic creator looking to get your comic printed, look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our comics and do a fantastic job. They can even print special edition covers. When you reach out to them, be sure to tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kelber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Hello everyone, and welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday on this January the 19th, 2025. I was just busy reading Wolf Hunter #2, which you could be reading too if you back the campaign. Tim and his team, Ray Fujiwara, Salvador Raga, Martin Martonen, and Mike Belcher have been pushing this like crazy all over the social medias. And if you haven't seen it, or if you've ignored it, you need to get over there right now and back this campaign. SilverlineComicsCrowdfunder.com. Get over there and back it. And welcome. I am the host tonight. I am Roland Mann, and I am here with Mr. iRobot himself, Tom Mason.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show.
And we are also joined by Cat and Mouse Color Supreme, Roberta Conroy.
Hello.
Who certainly has opinions for tonight. And I'm getting a message from Tommy, and Tommy's lost. He goes, what happened to y'all? I'm going to have to tell Tommy to rejoin. Here. Rejoin. We're here. I don't want to enter a pin. Rejoin. We're here.
And send one of the last 4 digits of your social security number, Roll.
Right, yeah.
And what's your mother's maiden name?
Probably Tom might get this one. It's BR549.
Oh, that's I get all my used cars from there.
That's right. Oh, well, let me open the comments. We got some comments already. Woody M says, "Is this going to be some tough love?" It is. We are going to bring it. As or send it, as the young ones say. Madness Madness Entertainment Group Pop says, I cannot approve this message. The Madness official stance is FAI, and that's Pops. And he goes, LOL, just my 20 cents, and that's inflation. Madness official stance, no AI. And then he says, sorry, Roland, I forgot to rumble this one. I'll replay that later. No worries, Pops. Thank you for taking such good care of us. Pops, you're just going to have to watch because I don't think that it's going to be exactly what you think it might be.
Right.
Tommy says he's tried 5 times. The link is dead. Well, we're here, Tommy. I don't know what to tell you. We're here.
Where is he? Is he traveling again? Is he in some weird hotel?
No, I think he's at home. He says the link is dead.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you're using this one. Make sure you're using. And we are bringing. There he is. We're bringing you the most exciting entertainment tonight, folks.
I don't know.
We're joined by Mr. Thomas Formonti, who is apparently being challenged by the AI tonight.
It's fun to watch old white people be confused by technology and how things work.
Tommy, say hi.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got too many windows open now. Hold on. Hi.
I think I've solved the problem now.
User error.
There.
Yeah.
No. I kept going into the thing, and then finally I jumped on Facebook and YouTube to see that you guys were on, and I'm like, what? Oh, I don't know why it's telling me every time I clicked into it. It said it just popped up and said stream ended like 5 times in a row. I'm like, what?
Ask Alexa.
No, here don't say. Oh,
yeah. No, we don't like Alexa. We'll ask Siri. Siri's
okay.
smarter.
Yeah. Well, we got a handful of folks watching this already, so that's good. So we're live.
Both are AI, by the way.
They're all. So we got folks on YouTube, we got folks on Facebook, and on Twitter. So they seem to all be going just fine. So before we get into the meat of it, again, folks, www.silverlinecomicscrowdfunder.com. Jump over there and back this. Tim will thank you. Ray will thank you. Salvador will thank you. Martin will thank you. Mike Belcher will thank you. They will thank you. And you will thank yourself because you're going to read it and go, wow, that was really, really cool. That was a lot of fun.
And then thank
somebody buy my cover.
That's right. There's still original art left. The pencils are gone. Someone bought the pencils.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so there's only one piece of original art left in that campaign, and that's Tommy's inks.
Better hurry
on the cover. So get over there if you're a fan of original art. Get over there and snag that one.
Or they could pray for stretch goal.
Yes, yeah. I gotta talk to Tim about that and see what he's got up his sleeve to offer. So I think we're probably going to be talking a lot about this tonight. So before anyone gets too worked up about our topic, tonight's topic is AI is here. Get used to it. This is not AI is here and we love it. That is not what we're saying at all. I'm going to quote Mr. Tom in that he said, the genie is out of the bottle and you can't put it back in. And that's kind of the, huh?
I did say that.
You did say that. Yes. I'm giving you credit.
I will own it.
Tom Mason. So that's the approach we're going to take tonight, is that it's here and we can complain about it all we want. That's not what tonight will be, but we can complain about it all we want, but that's not going to change the fact that AI is here. So,
but AI has always been here. It's been here for a long time.
Discuss, Tommy. What do you mean by that?
Well, Tom mentioned ask Alexa stuff. What do you think Alexa is? Or Siri? That's AI. Whenever you go on Google and you type something up there saying, "Hey, show me the great restaurants in this area," that's a version of AI. But we're talking about a specific kind of AI.
Right.
Well, the thing with AI is it's a learning thing, so it's not very good a few years back.
Yeah, because autocorrect is AI, but nobody likes it.
Yeah, we're talking about the AI that's like the AI generated art or the AI generated stories
yeah.
or those videos that you see that morph
Well, fake
one thing into
news
the other.
and
That's,
Yeah,
that kind
that's
of
what we're
stuff.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AI. So artificial intelligence, right? AI, as we're talking about, is going to be more AI in the arts, right?
Yes.
Not AI
Yeah.
for your Alexa or your maps, right? You use the Google Maps or what's the big program that everybody uses, the Waze, right?
Right.
That's all AI, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So
we're
you
talking
you
about
hear
that.
people go, "I hate AI. It's the devil. It's the devil." It's like,
And then they
you've been
say,
using it
"How do I
for
get
20
Wawa?"
years.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, though, I think many of us thought AI for autocorrect. Well, that's great, but then when AI starts taking away jobs and
Yes.
starts replicating creative work of other people without compensation or credit,
Yeah.
and then I think that's where it's like, oh, wait a minute. Suddenly AI is not this cute little thing that misspells my words for me.
Right.
It's
Or,
it's this thing that's taking away jobs, it's lowering salaries, it's decreasing actual creativity and making it sort of a computerized creativity, which isn't creativity at all.
No.
yeah. When AI is helping your grammar as you're typing in something and it says you use the wrong there, and you're like, how did you know which there? Oh, you're so smart. I'm not.
But that's sort of like helpful AI. That's like the good robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the good robot in the first like 20 minutes of a science fiction movie before the robot turns bad.
Yeah. So we're okay with that?
I'm okay with
the good AI.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been okay with it up until the past couple of years.
It's only when AI started replicating
All of a sudden started
creative
making
work.
stealing other people's artwork to make
right.
Different or the AI the chat AI thing, the chat GPT, whatever the heck it's called, where it's writing essays and stuff and things like that. That's.
I mean, I clearly I can't show it here, but you guys would be surprised at the number of student work that I get that's clearly AI, but I have no way to prove it.
Name names. Who are they?
Man, in those.
Is it Jerry?
They've gotten so good. Those AI. You remember last year or so there was the AI. You could take those papers and run them through these AI checkers, and it would say, "Yeah, this is the checkers aren't even working anymore."
Checkers aren't good enough.
That's what Roberta means by it's a learning process because
it's gotten so much, and I say better as in not that it's a good thing. Better, I mean it's just gotten better at doing what it's
okay,
doing.
hold on though. So has it gotten better, or is the AI lying to us? If I run it through an AI checker, does the AI checker goes, yeah, I wrote that?
That could be that too.
That's human. That's human.
That sounds like a good story to write.
It does. The AI doesn't want to get caught.
That's right.
There we go. I think okay.
Because
Roland,
he knows he's going to get unplugged, right?
I got a pitch for a new comic for you, Roland.
I know.
Well, so you guys, I clearly I know it's not a commonly watched show today, but
Love Boat.
No, 2000.
Fantasy Island.
Space.
Happy Days.
Hal, close the pod bay doors.
What's happening?
2001.
Thank you. 2001: A Space
2001.
Oh,
What's
okay.
happening?
So why did Hal, the computer, turn against the humans?
Because they were going to turn him off.
They were going to turn him off, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So he turns against. Yeah, he turns
Well,
against humans to protect.
There's another
himself.
movie. There's another movie about the same time called Colossus: The Forbin Project, where the computer took over. Basically took over America because the computer knew better.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to talk to the Russian computer, and so they could better work together. And then the two computers ended up controlling everything. And so that's why, you can't trust a robot in a science fiction movie.
Well, we learned that with War Games in the 80s.
That's right, with the Whopper.
Yeah, that was way back in the 80s. David A. Scudero says, "I got my knives out."
Oh no.
Okay. Let's hear it.
What's Happening had an AI rerun.
That's right. Only after he passed away because it took a while for the AI to learn how to breakdance.
That's another thing. One of the Star Wars movies recently had Carrie Fisher AI generated, right?
Yes. And Peter Cushing too. They used Peter Cushing's.
It did.
That's right. Did. Those were
completely. And it still had that uncanny valley thing that didn't look quite right, but it's still. But then you've got
but it will.
You got the
It
latest.
will.
You're talking Star Wars. I forget which one. It's the Ahsoka thing where they brought back Mark Hamill as
Yeah,
early
that was
younger
cringy.
Mark Hamill, and
Right.
that looked
That was
almost real.
no,
But-
it
Yeah, it
wasn't.
did.
though.
Roberta's no.
Yeah, it did. It
But-
looked
Looked
really good.
That's the
Roberta saw
problem.
all
it
the
looked good.
bites. I
But the
see
thing
them.
is, I think, and maybe somebody will chime in if I get this wrong. I believe that Mark Hamill gave permission and was paid.
He did.
Yeah,
He
he
did.
did.
And so I think,
Well,
so if you're
I don't
doing
think they have a
that,
choice anymore.
and that's different to me. That's different than AI because that's an arrangement that they made with Mark Hamill to make it okay.
okay to use. Yeah.
Well, all
And
right. So
so-
hold on though. It's still AI,
Right.
but
Right.
Mhm.
Mark Hamill
Just because he
said
gave permission to use
you can
to let
do it.
him do.
Yeah.
Well, and then
The thing
what's the Darth Vader guy said that they've got his voice before he passed
James
away,
Earl
saying
Jones?
he
Right,
he
James
gave
Earl
permission to
Mhm.
keep using his voice as Darth Vader.
Right, but I think give permission means that they have to pay his estate. I don't think that
They
means
do,
like
but I mean,
Yeah.
they gave his blessing. Maybe that's the better way to say it.
right. So I think
Yeah.
and so in those kinds of instances where it's like it's like a one-off arrangement. If the person whose image is being used is okay with that and is getting compensated correctly, then I think that's okay.
Yeah. So
But that's
yeah.
different than what I think we're talking about.
So yeah, because I think Roberta chime in here. I think kind of the issue Roberta's talking about is how AI is scouring the internet, taking images and learning to draw
Yeah, it's
using
learning
those
what
images.
a human is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've got a
Um,
good take on
and-
all that. We can towards the end ask me what my
And
take is.
it makes sort of everybody's face look like a wet candle. It's not
Yeah.
Hey,
Mhm.
it's not
it's
that
not.
great.
no, it's
For,
not
No,
a
it gives you
candle.
like
Well-
6 fingers too.
So do
Yeah.
you think this goes back to the idea? Yeah. Do you think this goes back to the idea that if it's on the internet, it's free?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Well,
too.
Yes.
isn't everything on the
I-
internet free? I thought it
But
was.
you know what? Listen, I think that attitude still exists amongst. I don't know about our generation as much, but among a lot of the younger generation, is like if it's on the internet, it must be free.
Yes.
Well,
it's all
there's the
clip
other
art.
thing is we went to school for being an artist, and they want they being the people that are making these hiring decisions and the users of this AI is, trying to have, this concept of an amateur photographer or an amateur artist
Yeah.
learning nothing but taking a professional looking image
Right.
output, or at least enough to fool people.
But I think, and I think and I think that's a very valid point. And I also think that while the kids today who think everything is free on the internet and is fair use have also been exploited by the people with all the money who
Yeah.
have sort of fed into that and made it possible for those kids today to access all the images on the internet and mash them up into something
Yeah.
that is AI generated
I mean,
art.
it's creative scrapbooking, really.
It is. It is.
And it looks like that.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I had a job one time where the guy was like, "Okay, I took a picture of the model, and can you put her in this environment?" I'm like, "With different lighting and different film grain, please." But
Right.
you know what? That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's
know,
gave it
and
to me,
so
didn't
like you give them that, and they, expect you to fix, all
Every-
kinds of things that people will notice
Yeah.
right.
with that kind of a marriage. But I think
Did-
people are less and less capable of identifying when something actually isn't.
Did he even use a green screen for you?
Oh no. I had to.
You had
You
to
don't
cut
want to
everything
know
out.
it. The hair, man. The lights behind the hair in a different angle, and it doesn't work.
But I think more than so it's to me there's two, maybe there's more, but there's at least two sides. There's that side, there's that creative scrapbooking thing, which is just
It's popular.
people mashing up found artwork and putting things together to look like they've made their own art that they can hang on their refrigerator or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's corporations that are using the technology to basically replace people like us and take
Right.
the jobs away that we did, because they can get in their minds, they can get the computer to do it for 1/10 of the cost. and nobody, in theory, nobody will be able to tell the difference in a generation. It all comes out of the
Well,
machine.
I'd like to ask about what's the difference between using AI generated photo tools and taking a good picture or photoshopping a good picture. There's a blurred line on what's what.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that was kind of my take a little bit that I wanted to towards the end that we could.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Do it now.
Yeah. Well, wait. Bring the heat now, man.
Bring it
No,
on.
my take is, what's really the difference of you saying using AI, one of these generator things that say draw me something, that looks like a Jim Lee piece, and then me just studying Jim Lee and I'm aping Jim Lee myself.
Yeah.
What's the difference of the two? I mean, the other, of course, is me learning to draw the guy and I'm actually drawing it. But if I'm still stealing Jim Lee's look,
you're absorbing Jim Lee's look. You're not stealing it unless you're copying it.
Right.
Yeah, but most of those things are altering some of that original artwork, and it's not really, you can't find the same pieces.
But you'll notice that it's not quite right, though. Like,
no, there's some
time of day.
No, I can't see. I was going to bring that up with at Kablam. At least once a week now, we're getting in just total AI books. People that are doing.
Yeah.
And panel to panel, the people don't look the same. It's just not there yet. But it's getting better. Better.
One of the things Tom said, it's going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to
and
be.
I think that's one of the things that we have to discuss.
It's
not there yet.
The more generic of the story is the easier, for like backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
It's I guess the Chat GPT stuff. It is Chat GPT, right?
Yeah, it
GPT.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, that it seems like the writing part of it seems to be a lot further along than the art image side of it, even the video side of it. Those videos, have you seen some of those weird videos? They're so weird.
I think it goes back to the idea, and Tom, chime in here. I think when we're talking about creating comic books, I think writing is the easier job than art.
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to downplay my role as a writer, because I have to understand story and character and plot and all that kind of things. But I think that as a task, right, it's an easier thing to do than to art, right?
I don't think that.
So I think the computer just mimics that.
Yeah, I don't think some of the stuff that I've seen that's written is somebody going to use ChatGPT to write a Game of Thrones novel kind of thing? Yes. I don't know. That's way too complicated.
Yes, they are. They will. And so they're two things. I think, again, two things. It's always two things with me. But so people are using ChatGPT to write books and novels and pass them off as original content, and they're selling them digitally on whatever the platforms are, and you can find them if you dig around for them. But other times, people who might hire us are using ChatGPT to create scripts or screenplays or pitch documents or whatever, and then hiring a writer at a much lower price to come in and basically edit
and fix it,
and flush it out.
Fix it. We know the robot did some wrong stuff. Go in here and make it sound like it's not a robot, and take out some of the stuff that they obviously stole from Game of Thrones. And
well, I think that's why I know I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. We know some folks, but I think that's what they're doing with the AI generated artwork. They're letting it go, and then all of a sudden you get one guy with 3 arms on one side. Well, he's just erasing the 3 arms, putting one arm and fixing the picture. And
so I think the point of the topic really is that all that stuff is bad. It's not creative. Now what do we do that it exists? Like, how can we? You can't fight it. It's here. So
it's here.
Yeah.
And none of us are rich enough to start an anti-AI company, and nobody's going to rise up in the streets and burn the place down.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
That's it. Show over.
Well,
I have silence.
The silence is thinking, because it's a good question.
So I have a thought.
Tom's got the answer. What's the answer?
No, I don't have the answer. I do not have the answer, but I know
it's unfair. Is what it is.
It's grossly unfair.
It is.
And for the people who are doing creative scrapbooking and carrying that a step further and making comics using AI, there's no proven market for this yet. Like there's no demand for this. There aren't people clamoring for this kind of stuff. So people can make as many AI comics as they want to pay for to get printed or whatever. Fine, go ahead and do it. The market will decide if it's successful or not. But so far, there is no market for that stuff.
No,
I don't.
It's not right yet.
But here's the thing that going back to what you said earlier, Tom, is that I think once the AI gets better,
right,
you're not going to call it AI, right? Unless they pass some law that says that
you
you're
have
going to call him Alan Ingalls, right? It's going to be Alan A. Ingalls, right? And suddenly, oh, look, there's this new artist, Alan Ingalls. Wow, it looks really good, right?
Right.
You're going to start looking for work by Alan Ingalls. I'm just making that up his name, right? But go with me. So you're not going to buy it because you think it's AI. Because who wants to buy? I don't know anyone who says I want to buy something created by a computer.
Right. No, and the majority of the people who buy comics don't even realize how they're made.
Right? The comic book fairies.
All right.
They'll
you
buy
write that?
what
You
they
draw
like.
it? Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't think the audience isn't going to care about the finished product or how it was created as long as it meets their entertainment needs.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's the thing that we're also fighting against too, is that the audience doesn't care about the problems that we're going through to try to deliver entertainment if the thing that comes across their screen or the thing that they're reading satisfies their entertainment demands. And that's it.
Well,
and so
and here's the other argument that I would make is that this is not going to happen tomorrow, I don't think anyway, but the computer is going to get smarter and smarter and smarter.
Oh yeah.
Right. The more it studies, the more however you want to call that, it's going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. They're going to feed marketing data into it. Right. Once it starts getting there, it's going to say, oh, we know exactly what they like. I'm going to write this story and then I'm going to draw this story. And it's going to be exactly what people want.
Right. And you're going to see, this sounds like an accusation, but I don't mean it that way. You're going to see companies like Marvel and DC be okay with dropping in first AI backgrounds and whatever, because it's cheaper and it's easier and it's cost cutting and it's just going to
get the product out faster.
Because they're no different than any other corporations. Because Marvel is Disney and DC is Warner Brothers, and they're going to save a dime if they can.
It's all about the money.
I remember how they used 3D graphics for the first time at Disney. And everything was hand drawn, everything was, painted in the background. Then all of a sudden, like
the computer generated
graphics. They have
the Pixar kind of stuff.
No, worse than that. I mean, like the whole environment they turned.
You mean like
Beauty and the Beast started
like
with
Ron and stuff.
Imagine the character you're spinning around the character. All of a sudden, she's not a painting.
And the same thing happened in comics early on, which is that actually hand lettering disappeared.
Yeah,
and hand lettering became digital lettering. And in order to save their individuality, artists started developing their own font based on their own individual lettering.
Yeah.
And so that was a way to sort of creatively combat a uniformity of comic book lettering, is that artists would develop their own font.
I've been trying to get Stephen Butler to get his lettering into a font. I said I'd use it.
Yes. And if you know lettering, like some of us do, you can tell, okay, that's a computer generated font, but that's the font created by
that. Right. Yeah.
And
that's
so
Tom Orzechowski.
Right. That's one way a creative person could protect themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And their style. And so.
And see, I like that because I think that's an answer. If you're so this for a letterer, right? If you're a letterer, how can you protect yourself from the AI? Well, I'll create a font that has my name on it and I'll sell it. And if you want to use it, there it is. It's not $1,000. It's not an outrageous cost. It's something that you can afford to use because.
But also, if I was a letterer and you want my individual look on your book, you can have it.
Yeah.
Because not all comic book lettering should look alike.
I agree.
And so because lettering is more than just the fonts. Lettering is also balloon placement and flow and all the other
Trying
elements.
I mean,
to
we
that
all
not
incorporate
should be
get in the
using
way
Comic
of the
Sans
art.
or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anyone who's heard me talk about lettering know that the John Workman is probably one of my all-time favorite letterers, right? And I love the way he knocks out the. And apparently, I'm learning some of this. Apparently, some of this was Walt Simonson's instructions to do so.
Right.
He knocks out the panel borders, right, and brings the letters instead of having that tiny little gap. He brings the letters all the way to the edge. I just absolutely love the way he does some of those things like that, right? And that's a John Workman thing.
And Chaikin would do the same thing with Ken Bruzenak. They would work the lettering in, so that when you see it on the page, when you see the whole page, you realize how the lettering is just it's really not just, but it's a piece of art as much as the pencils are. It's
so. Speaking of Chaikin and letters, he wrote something somewhere, I don't know, for one of these websites, and he made a comment in there about balloons, right? And I read it. I'm like, it wasn't the point of his whole thing. I think it was a Christmas thing in his family and comics and stuff.
Right.
But I dropped him an email and said, "Hey, what did you mean by this?" Now Chaikin is one who doesn't think, if I got his answer correct, right? So I'm going to just hold this up and point, right? Here is see, this balloon is completely in the
space.
panel,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Fits nicely.
This one is not. You see how the top of that one is the panel. Chaikin doesn't like that. He doesn't think that that's the way they should be done.
That's right. I don't either.
He thinks he wants the whole balloon.
it should be floating in the air.
Be floating in the air.
That's because you remember when they just paste it in.
Yeah,
I guess
they
so.
just put it on.
But see, that to me, that's a little Workmanish. John Workman did not do
well,
this.
except that Workman would leave the panel border open where the lettering was, and he would move the lettering up so that the top of the I think they're ascenders would be touching where the border would be.
Or go into the gutter a little bit.
And I will say this: it all depended on the placement of the balloon, right? If it was in the wrong place, he wouldn't leave it open because it would bring your eye this way instead of over to the other side.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
But Howard draws specifically for balloon placement to reflect his sensibility, so he's not surprised.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where now we're off topic again, though.
Yes,
we do that.
But I think the
Josh Perry Bloodline says, "Hi everybody, what's up, Josh Perry? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We're talking about AI is here and how we're going to deal with it."
And I think
smack it.
I think the best way to combat this stuff for creative people is you're going to have to make your own things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think. And I say that with the ease of a rich person. It's like, well, just go make your own stuff. But I think that's, if the comic books are going to go an AI route and everybody's making AI comics and you don't like that stuff, you should make your own.
Yeah.
I love that argument is the exact solve.
Yeah.
Because no one can emulate, your own personal individuality.
Right. Like I can probably use, and well, I'm going to pick on you for a second. I can use ChatGPT and other stuff to emulate a cat and mouse comic book.
Yep.
However, it isn't going to be the one that Roland Mann makes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to look like a 4th generation bad photocopy, and people who are cat and mouse fans are going to be like,
"Yeah, there's something
off
about
this. There's something off about this." It's like
there wouldn't be a single y'all in the script at all.
Right. Of course.
That's right.
It's like,
are they going to?
It's one of my favorite things to look at is there's a Turkish ripoff of of Superman, I think it is. A Turkish ripoff of Superman where he's got like what looks like a Halloween costume on and he's running around Istanbul but it's Superman and it's uncopied, they just stole it. The original. But it's not Superman. It looks like kids made it or something, but it's made by adults. And I think that's what AI looks like. It looks like it looks like some sort
That's
of.
how I feel.
Moneybags Mason says.
Yeah, that's right. It's nothing but NBM, nothing but money. But I think if you're serious about being creative, and you're serious about stuff, and occupying the creative space, you're gonna have to stake out your claim.
Yeah,
it's like if you wanna. Like in the old days, like in the gold rush days, if you want to be a landowner, you stake out your claim for the land or for the gold or whatever. And here, it's another Wild West frontier.
Mhm.
Make your own comic, make your own thing, because or conversely, if you can't draw, write your own book, write your own. It's never really been easier. I mean, not that it's easy, but it's never really been easier than right now to make your own stuff.
Oh man,
That's true.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Well, I want to add something to that. I think when you stake out your own claim, you have to understand what it is that you're doing, right? And
Mhm.
so one of the things I think is particularly in writers, one of the biggest faults I see in writers is they're not they're not that knowledgeable, and that's a couple different ways. Number one, they're not that knowledgeable about how to tell a story itself, right? They just start writing and oh yeah, well, this is just what I just made this up. Well, great, that's what we all do,
You
but
start there.
right, yes, you got to have you got to have a story. The other thing is that I think you have to understand what the field is, right? You have to understand what the other comic book people are doing. Maybe novels, TV shows. What are they doing? You have to understand what's out there. And I just when I get a student that comes through my class and because I sometimes say, hey, what do you what are you reading now, right? And to hear now, keep in mind, I teach creative writing. That's what I teach, right? I don't teach math. I don't teach, I teach creative writing. And a student will come through and say, well, I don't really read. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
That's not good.
Why do you want to do this?
Right, exactly. It's like, what do you mean you don't read? What are you doing? My response to them without fail is always, well, then be prepared to fail. Because if you're not reading, you have no idea what's going on around you. And you're just going to be noise. That's all you're going to be.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the weeding out process too, because the desire to be creative doesn't necessarily make you creative.
No.
And because I'm on this screenwriters group on Facebook, and every now and then somebody will write, I've just written my first screenplay, and can anybody take a look? And then somebody will ask, well, how many have you ever read a screenplay before? And he goes, no, I mean to though. And it's like you've made every mistake of a person who doesn't know the form, doesn't know the format, doesn't know how to tell a story.
Right. Yeah. You've made all the mistakes that you could have spent a little bit of time figuring out, learning, right? And then you don't make them.
But those are the people that make Chat GTP and AI appealing to, because it's the shortcut.
Well, here's the thing. It's the shortcut. That's what's getting people.
Yeah.
Yes. And David Ace Gutierrez hits the nail on the head there. He says, desire to make you creative gives you AI.
Most people are not creative.
Right. But they desperately want to have, quote unquote, their stories out in front of the public, whatever their stupid story is. And so I think I just insulted everybody. But I think
we can cut that out.
But part of what makes a creative person is like, I don't write now like I did when I was 13.
No.
I like to think I write better than I did years ago, but I learned how because I met other writers, I talked to other writers, I showed my work around, I did a ton of other work. I put the time in to sort of build my own style and build my own brand. You may not like it, but I own it. It's mine.
But it's you.
It's mine. It's
and
me.
you got criticism from people who have been there.
And I took criticism from everybody but Roland. And so I think, but I take, because my thing is that if I get the same criticism from like 2 or 3 people who I consider my peers, I've screwed up.
Yeah.
And they're seeing something.
And they're saying, it's like Roland and I might disagree about something I did, but if Tommy also is of Roland's opinion, and Roberta, you have Roland's opinion, then
everybody's giving you those opinions separately and not as a group kind of thing.
Not as a group, but they're all basically covering the same ground. It's like I'm not going to argue with you people out.
or do that. Yeah.
How dare you crush my dream or whatever? That's just stupid. I'm going to say
Maybe that idea does suck.
Yeah,
Maybe I should
right,
think
'cause
about it a little more.
I'm not 13 anymore, so I'm not going to get angry about it. I'm going to sit down and go, I wonder what I did and how I can fix
it. Yeah.
Right.
How can I
Because-
fix it?
And over time, I've learned, okay, now that I know what the problem is, I think I can fix it, and I won't go to the Chat GTP or whatever. It's in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Woody says, I made a brief foray into teaching as a second career, and I follow the teachers quitting episodes on the YouTube. It's quite common for college kids to be unable to read and comment on a novel.
Yes.
And yeah, Woody,
That's sad.
It is
honestly.
sad. Well, and Woody, I teach at the senior level where I teach. They're not classified freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, but effectively my students, for the most part, they're three months from graduation. So they are effectively at the senior level. And you would be surprised the number that make it into my class that still can't handle, they can't put together a sentence. And I frequently ask my boss, my supervisor, I'll send him a snapshot of the work. And I'll say, how did this student make it to me? How did this student make it all the way to my class?
Mhm.
If someone in the
Do you want me to
earlier
fail
class-
this person? Because that's what they need to fail. They need to.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bell curve or whatever, and they're at the
Yeah.
bottom.
What's going to happen when I fail this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I ask. Am I going to get
Right.
in trouble?
That's
Am I
right.
going to get
Yeah.
in trouble for failing the student because they
Do I-
can't put together a sentence?
I'm
Do
going
I
to give
have
them an A,
tenure?
but I'm going to tell them that they stink in the background just so they know.
Well, it's like there should be a bar of English literacy and competency
Yes.
before they get to you, and that's just part of your class.
Yeah.
It is. Because it's not my job to teach them that aspect of writing, right? They're supposed to
That's-
bring that into my class so we
Right.
can talk about something deeper.
You
Because-
talked
Yeah.
about the creative part.
Yeah.
the thing is-
You don't
Not the
go
grammar
into
part.
Yeah, you're not at school taking calculus if you hadn't already passed algebra 1 and 2, right?
Exactly.
You need to know those things before you can actually.
Well, not
know,
anymore.
pass
You
the
got
next-
AI.
Yeah.
No, that's
Well,
true.
see,
You
the
just
thing is-
ask AI to help you.
Hmm.
The thing though is that when you're making comics, so I'll bring this back down to comics.
Yes.
When you're making comics, and it's a collaborative effort between the 3 or 4 producers of the material, so the writer, the artist, inker, the colorist, the letterer, and then the editor, let's say. That's basically 5 separate groups of people. When there's a problem, you can't really run to the computer and hope that Chat GTP or AI is going to solve that problem for you. You've really got, like, if the artist wants to do something different, or the colorist wants to make a change to the coloring, or the letterer wants to put the balloons here instead of there, or the editor sees a problem with the script, it's like you got to solve that with your brain. You can't necessarily go to the computer and say,
Right.
I'll let you know in 15 minutes when the chat gets back to me. And I've been on the set of TV shows where I'm the set writer, and I got the actors in the middle of the rehearsal, and the directors called me down to the set, and they said the actors have had a problem. We want to stage the scene this way, which means we need new dialogue for here and here. They're not going to want me to run upstairs and ask the computer.
You pull out
and
your
then come
phone and you
back
go,
down.
Chat GPT, give me some
let me-
dialogue for.
Hey Siri, can you fix the script problem in Act 3 for me? It's like, no.
right.
It might give you something if you ask.
That's
yeah,
a
but
scary thought.
they're waiting. They're
Oh,
waiting. for the
it'll
answer.
fix it. Yeah, it'll fix your job too.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Argo Comics. What's up, Argo Comics? Thanks for hanging out with us
What's up?
tonight. Says teachers at my gym told me they started teaching cursive again.
I love
That's
it.
interesting. Yeah.
Teachers at
That's great.
the gym.
I don't know why for 2 seconds they took that away, thinking
I
that
don't
would
either.
work.
Because
And you've got
No,
really-
cursive is such a cool thing. You could write cursive now, and it's like a secret language to some of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son wasn't
Well,
taught
you
to
can't
in
even
school.
Read
My
the
daughter was, but-
Constitution.
because it's
You know,
basically
and
short-term
basic
short-term
stuff.
thinking, because people are like, well, we don't use cursive anymore. It's like, well, cursive isn't necessarily used for writing on a daily basis. Cursive is a way to process information and a way to train your brain to think.
Yeah.
And so it's
Oh, gee. We would do that in school?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
and I've over the years, I still use cursive, but I've adapted it to sort of my own writing style. So now it really looks like a secret language.
Yeah, because
I look
mine
more
is
like
too. Mine is
hieroglyphics.
most
It's like-
simple.
It's like I can read it when I take fast notes, but it's like it really just looks like Morse code to anybody else who's looking at it.
Yeah.
At the office, I have a book called the Kablam Book of Secrets, where I write all my notes down. So, and I always hand it to, like, if I go on a trip or something, especially if I'm flying somewhere, I go, Barry, here's the Book of Secrets. Take this book, just in case I mean,
right.
I don't mean to be morbid. Just in case I die, here's the book. You need this book to keep the Kablam going, right?
Yeah.
And then Barry flips to it and he says, I can't even read what you wrote. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I know, because it's a mixture between print and then all uppercase print and then cursive and then it's just a shorthand of garbage that I understand what I wrote.
Yeah.
So that's when in the movie version of Tommy's death, what we do is we hire a witch to bring Tommy back to life, so we can get the Kablam secrets out of him. We can't operate Kablam without your secrets, Tommy. Tell us, and then Tommy, the ghost of Tommy, comes out and goes, Well,
let me tell you.
Place the paper face down.
That is a. I can't even read my own writing anymore. I don't know.
Woody says, "Can't form a full sentence." It's worse than I thought. It is. It would scare you, Woody. I think if you knew some of it. And from what I hear, I only teach at one school, but from what I hear, it's pretty much this way all the way around, and that is scary. David A. Scudero says, one of my favorite bands, Tears for Fear, used AI to create their latest album cover, and I can't believe the hypocrisy of that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, wow. I wasn't
Well, they probably used AI to have you better be sure that they didn't use it to make the music, too. Right. Have y'all seen the AI music generators and stuff?
You sent me a couple of those. It
is. I don't want to say it's fantastic, but it is crazily cool.
Because there's a meme that sort of goes around on social media that it's like, I wanted AI to do my dishes and make my bed and clean my house. I didn't want AI to write my comics and make my music and design my album covers. And that's
right.
So hold on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this that I'm about to play was AI generated.
Touch you down, a smile on your brow. Put a little madness in your life. If life makes you unashamed, and comics are your estate, put a little madness in your life.
All right, so there's more to it, but Pops, if you're still around listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was AI generated.
Is that one of Pops's commercials?
Like
that's one of Pops's. Yeah.
No, then it's not AI because Pop hates AI stuff.
Well, but but it goes back to what you were saying, Tommy. AI is everywhere.
It is.
And so because we make comics, when we talk about AI, we're really talking about AI generated comic books, right?
Yeah.
Not the AI that's everywhere else, right?
Well, AI generated art, so you can know whether or not you can trust that your work isn't being stolen.
I would call music art.
Yes, it is art. They're all art. They're all different. I mean, they're all creative, expressions of artistic talent.
At some point, the richest artists are going to get together and make a formal legal challenge to all of this stuff. And once people, like, again, I'm making this up, but once somebody makes their own Disney generated AI movie, then the Disney people are going to have a problem with that because most people just have to say Disney before they get a cease and desist order. So once you start using Disney characters to make your AI generated product, that's when I think corporations are going to suddenly realize, oh, wait a minute. This can be used against us.
Yeah.
As much as we can use it to cut costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about writing a little bit. Let me get these comments real quick here. Josh has got to go help his nephew. Josh, join us when you can. Argo says high school teacher had to write everybody's name on the blackboard for them to learn their signature. So it'll take years for the cursive to take hold.
Yeah. That's good.
And then he says, no AI in my books. Yeah, ours either, Argo. Woody says, my granddaddy told me the Nickelodeon would ruin everything, and he was right.
That's it. And the automobile has ruined the horse and buggy industry.
It's the horseless carriage.
The horseless carriage has ruined
the horseless carriage. Yes,
it did. It disrupted everything.
I had to sell my
People
horses.
had all their horses. They didn't know what to do with them.
The buggy whip guy was crying.
The footman. Right,
that's right.
Footmen. All these footmen were out of work.
The horses were faster than the carriages.
So what if you're an artist? What do you do to protect yourself from AI, which is here and going to stay?
Glad you
what
asked,
do you do?
Roland.
Yes,
lots of questions
Roberta.
in that. Well, I can say number one. Well, number one is you copyright your stuff that's yours as soon as you make it, so that you have the record that you created this bit of art.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beginning, right?
So,
and
could you make...
there's a lot of other things in that. So I have a particularly difficult problem in that I'm a digital artist.
Yeah.
So how much AI goes into my photoshopping or whatever,
right.
And am I taking other people's images? Are they, or styles? How are they going to tell just because my computer outputted it? Was it me that did it?
Yeah.
These are questions that are actually going to be need litigation,
Yeah.
Because I can create something and I do think it's mine. And if I get it copyrighted, it legally is.
Right.
So can you make like a style guide or the digital publication of your samples that would be yours?
That's the thing, is the AI learning is starting to do that. Anything you put out there, it's learning from.
Yeah, I think just the fact that we're now, or most of us are switching from doing things on paper to doing things digitally, is making it so the AI, if it wants to, the ones that go out there and scrub the internet and find the images and stuff, making it easier for them to find your art, to be able to use it as reference.
The beast that wants to kill us.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know the answer to this question. This is why I'm asking. Is there a way that if you're like, hey, I made this image, it's mine, it's copyrighted, but I'm going to put it on the internet because I want everybody to see it. Is there a way that you could protect that?
There are some ways, yeah. There's masking right now that they can put kind of a digital distraction for the AI bots embedded in the artwork. There's also some that put little supposedly undetectable pixels in your art. That's trackable. Yeah.
Wow.
So that could be tracked to your IP address so that people know exactly where that art came from. And if it's used or misused, you can track that legally.
Now, is this something that, because I don't know, is this something that it's for you, like Roberta? Could you just go in and add that? Is that something that's
you have to sign up for people that have these programs?
Another subscription service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or I guess there's some of them are like open source, that you can put on your whatever program.
That's the bad part about open source. Yeah, if it's open source, then it's free. The code is out there, so people can then just take the code, figure out what you did to put this little digital signature in your thing, and then take the digital signature out of the thing
and mess it up. Yeah,
we've all seen that on NCIS.
Well, see, that's the reason why it's difficult, because it's only as good as the technology.
But aren't we back into the thing where the snake is eating its own tail, where if you have enough AI images online, then the AI is feeding on itself to make new stuff, and then you get even worse stuff. You don't get better stuff.
Yeah.
But it's trying to become more human.
Yes,
it's trying to learn what brushstrokes are. It's trying to learn what things people respond to as a marketing tool, so that they can go that direction.
And we should all learn the lessons from war games. It was brought up earlier by Roberta, which is we should make ChatGPT play tic-tac-toe with Midjourney, and
Yeah.
and watch them both
And just
implode.
let it get busy doing something else.
That's right. Don't
Yeah.
I can't steal art from
I
creative
dare
people
you
right now.
to
I'm
beat
busy.
yourself.
He's got a circle in the center square. I gotta fight this.
Woody says Photoshop might be embedding proprietary AI algorithms. What do you mean by that, Woody?
I'm not sure, but I mean,
This
but
is-
the AI stuff is already built
Well,
into Photoshop.
they
Let's-
track it your
explain it a little
use. I
bit.
mean, you
Oh.
use there's so many AI tools in Photoshop that they track its use.
So
Well,
are you
generative
saying,
fill.
Roberta, so are you saying they can take a page, let's just say of cat and mouse that you colored,
Yes.
and they can look at it and tell that you colored it using Photoshop?
They know not just that, but they know that the background on the upper left-hand corner was filled with generative fill, like if that was the case.
Oh my
If that
gosh.
tool was used in that piece of digital art, then they know.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
The new version of Photoshop is crazy. I guess it's in the demo version now, or the beta version rather. You could take a page, and I've done this. Barry and I have done it at work. It's funny. We would take a page. We'll grab one of the characters, and you just do the thing, and then hit the button to say remove that character, and it will remove the character and redraw the background of stuff that wasn't even there that matches the drawing of the rest of the page. And then you can go say, get rid of this logo, grab the logo and say, remove the logo. And it'll draw a building back there that matches the building that's not even drawn.
That's
it's
scary.
It is
Yeah,
very,
it's scary.
very crazy. And then you can circle another area and say, here, lady's standing over there with her finger in her nose. And it will draw a lady with her finger sticking. You go and make it fit with the shadow, and it'll see what the shadow of even of a not a photograph of even a comic book thing where it has where the light source and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And this is all in Photoshop?
Crazy insane.
It's
already here. That's already in the new
Yeah.
version of Photoshop.
Well,
it's crazy scary because it's not just that the robot is getting smarter like a bad science fiction movie. It's that the robot is working in hand with the corporation to steal jobs from people and to depress wages of those who are still working.
Well,
yeah,
I
they
think
want cheaper art to
they
be
want
thrown
cheaper
out,
art, and they don't
so people
because they
buy it.
don't recognize our need to make a living. They just recognize their need to make a profit,
right.
and that's
Well,
And
that's
they
where it's
don't
gonna butt heads.
recognize the lack of emotional resonance to their product.
yeah.
Right. Well, because
Well,
they're business people, and they don't have the love of the craft.
No,
that
it's
we do.
it's the money bottom line kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the MBA kids. It's not creative people.
Yeah.
So there's something I didn't get a chance to look up enough about it before our stream today, but Wacom is having this this record protection, or they're trying to do a protection against AI. So it's a proof of you being the first person that made it, so that no art
Yeah, I like that.
no art thief
yeah.
can actually make it if you made it first.
Right.
Well, here going back to the robot thing. Here's the thing I think that's also scary about what's happening with the robots. So science fiction movies that scare us all, right? We see the robot. The robot is generally humanoid, right? It's
Right. So
shaped.
it's the physical embodiment of the
Right.
technology.
There's a physical embodiment of the robot. So we all look at the robot and we go, eek, the robot is learning, right?
Right.
The scary thing about AI is, what is it? It's not embodied in a robot, right?
Right. It's in the computer. It's the thing. It's
Yeah.
hidden. It's basically an invisible monster.
It's an invisible
And
monster. It's everywhere.
And it's the same problem of with this political stuff, but saying you're banning guns. Well, the only people that won't have guns are the people that are going by the rules. So if you say that you can't steal this artwork because we're saying that you can't steal it anymore, AI is going to go, I don't care. It's going to go steal it anyway. It's just a thief.
Speaking of bans, I wonder if TikTok was the fastest ban and unban in the history.
Oh, that was insane. Last night, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Or the
It
night
was
before,
banned
whenever
and
it was, I posted that thing. It was gone 1 minute, and then I woke up the next morning
already
and
here.
it turned back on again.
At least all my AI dances can be preserved for the future.
That's right. More twerking videos.
We're still
AI
waiting on
twerking
Tommy to
videos.
twerk.
That's-
Argo
I know.
says protect yourself by drawing all your characters with 7 fingers, and that will bring
Right.
AI up to
I'm gonna
15 fingers per hand.
That's right.
You know, that would be the thing to do. Just go ahead and draw pictures like
Finger
AI
count.
was doing it. I'm just going to mess them up on purpose, and then
That'd
I'm
be
saying, this
funny.
AI did it. It's-
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
What he said, sneaky bastages.
Yeah.
I like the one.
Now, the one thing about the Photoshop thing that, you know, it still messes stuff up. So it'll still draw, you know, if you do the little thing that I was telling you about, all of a sudden, you know, you'll see water floating around in the air. And it's like, I don't know why you drew that water up there. So you'll have to still fix stuff.
Well, you know, here's the thing I say about that too, and we may have mentioned this on the show before, but yeah, okay, AI accidentally, you know, tosses an extra finger on there for. But you guys, you're familiar with the famous Jack Kirby 2 left hands, right, or 2 right hands?
Oh yeah, on Reed Richards.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a human being, and he made that mistake.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know how many.
And he's the king. We call him the king, right?
But then,
yeah, I don't know how many caricatures I drew out at Disney where after I finished drawing it and coloring it and all that kind of stuff, and I go, I drew 2 left arms on that guy. Like maybe they won't notice.
well, we've seen it. We've seen it in comics all the time where we've spotted a mistake. And Marvel used to give out the Marvel No Prize to people who found
That's funny.
errors and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think, but to be honest, I mean, there have always been this kind of mistakes, and certainly in comics, there have always been these sort of cheats, whether it's swiping or using photographs for backgrounds and re-inking them, or but that's a lot different than what we're talking about. Using photo reference or using models or whatever. That's way different than what we're talking about with AI.
Yes.
Well, AI does that too.
But AI does that too, but AI is stealing it from somebody else. AI is not creating it.
Well, what did you guys feel about, like, if it got to the point where I could train AI to study everything that I've ever inked, and then I get a piece and, you know, and I'm using it, and then all of a sudden I pull somebody's pencils in and I say, here, ink this like me.
Well, let me speak
out something, then I go, oh, that's pretty close to what I would do.
I would almost go back to what
it may not be.
Well, I would almost go back to what Tom said about Mark Hamill giving the. So is it your personal AI? Is it the AI that you have, or do I?
Yeah.
Have it
What if I trained it and then I'm using it?
It's your personal AI,
it's my, and then, you know, I may have to go through and tidy up. I don't
have a problem with
that.
But basically, then you're deciding to do it.
Yeah,
that's different than some stranger saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to give somebody a commission, and you know, I want it to be impressive, so I'm going to make it look like a Floramonte."
Yeah,
right.
And there it is, something out there that looks just like what you would do, but it's not, and he got paid for it.
Yeah. But if somebody then stole it and started doing it,
that'd be bad.
Then that's wrong. Let's see. Well, of course, it's wrong.
Unless you sold it as part of your legacy.
Oh,
yeah. So I think. So what?
Tommy, can I borrow it?
Yeah. So to take
so that way I won't have to do it.
I don't want to talk to Tommy.
As long as I get paid for it, sure, you can borrow it.
But I think if you're using your own personal AI to create a Thomas Floramonte studio, where the robot can ink like you. Yeah, and that's different than where my problem would be, and again, maybe I'm just splitting hairs. My problem would be if you created an AI that was supposed to ink like Frazetta.
Yes.
And then you use that to
get
other work. I think that's bad. But if you use your own thing to create your own thing, and it's inking like you I don't.
I was going to kind of say
the
I agree.
AI images are scraping your stuff. That's the problem.
Right. No, I was only really going around because then it would get back to the same thing as letterers using, letters of their own handwriting. That's basically the same thing. Is what I was trying to get at.
That's why I don't have a problem with it, because it's you're making the decisions and you're in control.
Unless they're, right now you can feed it, like if say you wanted to do a series of drawings or AI drawings, AI images, you can start feeding it. Like if I wanted to feed it a whole bunch of pictures of me, and then it's say draw Thomas as a gladiator, draw Thomas as a Powerpuff Girl, draw Thomas as it can actually do that
It
it doesn't
can
do a
do
great
that.
job at it, but it can do it now.
Oh, sometimes it does a
And if
great
you're-
job at it.
And
these
it's
days.
going to
Yeah.
get better.
If you're doing that for fun, sure. I don't see that where there's a market for that. I don't see
Yeah.
where you.
Or what about using the AI stuff to help give you some ideas? It's like, give me some logo ideas of like my Inferno Studios. Say
That's fine.
the
Just
logos
realize
Inferno
that it's
Studios. I
using other
want
people's
flames. I
logos.
want this. I want
Yeah,
that.
well,
and
there's-
give me some ideas.
That what Roberta just said. There's a
Yes.
chance that you're going to inadvertently copy somebody else's logo because the AI gave it to you.
Yes.
Well, but if you're just using it as a jump off point,
but see, it's showing you stuff that it stole from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
what's the
problem.
difference of me looking at other people's stuff and stealing it too?
Because you can process better. I trust
Yes.
you to process it.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know about that.
Because you'll
I would
change
be-
it more.
How long have you
I-
known Tommy? Tom?
No, I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I think Roberta's point is correct, which is
Yeah.
that it's taking images of things that exist and it's showing you. It's not really showing you inspiration. It's showing you stuff that exists and pretending it's inspiration.
Yeah.
And yeah, if that's how you do your research for logo design, fine. But it's not.
Roberta's
It's
like,
not. No,
"Screw
I'm
you,
saying
Thomas."
some people do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
we see.
But I don't think that if you ask for a logo and you want some help with it, and a lot of people are going to think that that is a usable image that it's coming up with.
Oh,
and it is based
right.
on
What
other
it gives
people's
them to
stuff.
start off. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
people are doing. That's wrong. They're
Yes,
just taking it
that's the
straight
problem.
and then running with it,
Mhm.
and it,
That's the
and
problem.
not altering it at all. And we know some
Right.
folks.
Or much.
Because I
We're not
have,
going to talk about
I
it.
work with a logo guy who's terrific, and what he does is I give him a concept of what it's about, and I tell him the tone, and I tell him I usually have 5 existing logos of things that are of a similar tone that I like,
Yeah.
and then he gives me back a selection of fonts
Ooh.
to choose from,
Yeah.
and then I choose from the fonts, and then he takes all of that himself
Works
and
some
comes
magic.
back with an idea, and that's
Well,
that's way and it's not AI, it's not a robot, it's like a guy bringing his creativity to what I think my idea is. And
Here,
why you sad, Doug Curtis? Yeah, sorry,
What?
I can see the likes and hearts and stuff, and we
Oh.
got a sad face for the first time ever. And
Oh.
so
What was that about?
I don't know. Doug Curtis just has a sad face, so I'm hoping
And
he'll.
he doesn't
What
like my shirt.
should-
That's what I'm thinking.
should we
Well, nobody likes
start?
his shirt, but
Like if like Tom's talking about getting somebody to design some logos for him or whatever, and he's paying somebody to design
Yeah.
some logos. Say Tom's getting me to design some logos, and he's paying me. Should there now be written in the contracts of something that says no AI period?
There is.
yeah,
There is
So-
in the contract I just signed for a book I'm supposed to write. It says very specifically, I agree under penalty that I have not used any sort of AI.
That if we
generating
find out
models.
that you've been, because this
It voids
is
the
not
contract.
totally you, even though, if you end up writing something that's similar to somebody else's, well, it came out of your head. But if you let AI help you come up with something and they stole it from somebody else, then
Because in the contracts pre-AI, there were always clauses that said I didn't plagiarize anybody. Like,
Right.
These are my original ideas. This is my original stuff. I didn't take it from another source or whatever. So that all
Yeah.
exists. And it's just been expanded to include, I haven't used
yeah.
any sort of AI to sort of generate any of my material. And I'm
So-
okay signing it because I don't use
Right.
that material.
So for those
Yeah.
of our fans who read Silverline Comics on Global Comics Express, for those who like the digital stuff, every time I upload a comic to Global Comics Express, I have to click no AI was used on this.
And
So-
that's
and I'm
that's, I
okay with
think,
that.
and that's a way that I think that's another layer of protection for us. And in a way is that,
But
global comics is a business.
here-
yes,
And the business is on the side of the non-AI people, which is
Yes.
good.
But
And I think-
because Roland, because Silverline essentially hires folks, then what's to say that? I don't, of course, but what was to say that I'm not using AI, and now you've just lied about
You never
saying
noticed.
because you assume that I didn't do it when or one of the writers actually got stuck in a corner and needed a quick way out, and he went to AI and had something wrote up real quick.
Yeah.
And you just said that it's not when one of the writers actually did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So should we now start with Silverline? Tell the people that you can't be doing it.
Well, I think
We'll talk about it off the air.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
something
yeah.
we'll talk about here. Gotcha.
I would like to think that most of the folks in the Silverline family are of kind of the same mindset when it comes to that.
I don't know. I got
let's
some
get-
wishy-washy folks out there.
Hey, let's get Doug Curtis up there. He gave us a smiley, the frowny face. He goes, I don't want to get used to it, but I will listen to what you have to say. Because I know the genie is out of the bottle, and there is not much I can do about it other than try to use it ethically to my advantage. Doug, I hope you will give us a listen. I don't know if you're just tuning in and just happened to see that
the clickbait headline.
Yeah, the clickbait headline. But I hope that if you do go back and give us a listen, that you're gonna see. I think we're pretty much in line. I think we're gonna fall much in line with your feelings as well.
I think the actual thing, I mean, the clickbait headline is get used to it, but the real thing is it's here and we can't stop it. So now what do we do?
Right.
What do we do? Like, how do we handle it?
How do we handle it?
Let me run through some of Woody's comments here. He
Right.
left us a handful of comments. He says watermarking. This goes back to when I asked him about Photoshop. Watermarking can be done with FFmpeg. MPEG. I don't know exactly what that is, but I trust you. Roberta apparently does.
This is the part in the science fiction movie where some character goes, English, please.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the encoding process. So yeah, you can watermark with it.
Yeah. So apparently Roberta just said what Woody says, pretty easily done by an amateur that knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But not
I like
mine.
his graphic. That's pretty funny.
An advanced amateur.
At some point, they acquired use of a public database that was being gathered ostensibly not for profit, and somehow jumped the queue. It may still be further litigated.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a tremendous number of lawsuits to try to figure out the way forward.
I think so too. He says we talking about robots. The robot was pretty scary in the first season of Lost in Space.
So off topic, but the first season of Lost in Space is way different than the subsequent seasons of Lost in Space. The first season of Lost in Space shows a lot of promise, and the other seasons of Lost in Space are basically a sitcom.
Yeah,
got silly, got a little silly.
Argo said AI demon will have 5 tails.
Yes, he will.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sure will.
Robert Frey.
And he gets bigger and smaller as the book goes.
Thank you for hanging out with us, Robert. Robert says using AI is no different than sampling someone else's music. Sampling someone's music without consent is copyright infringement. It will just take time for laws to be made, and AI will fall under the same penalty.
Because when music sampling started to come out, everybody was like, "Oh, that's cool, and then the artist whose work was being sampled,
like,
like,
no,
that's not cool.
That's not
if
cool.
we're going to do this, you need to pay me for my
That's
work.
right. And then the guys who were doing the sampling were like, "No, we're not going to pay you." And then they all went to court, and the court said, "Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, yes, you are.
You are going to pay." And so I think that's sort of where we're headed.
Yes, I think so
with
too.
the AI stuff is you cannot sample another person's work presented as your own without either compensation or permission.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think, and I don't know as far as the art side goes, but I know, again, from what I see in my class, one of the things that's going to be hard to do is how do you prove writing, right? How do you prove that something is written with AI? Now, I think right now there are absolutely some signs,
tells.
but there are tells, right? And my son, we talk about this a bunch because he's in class and I'll show him something and I'll say, "Do you think that was written by AI?" He'll read it and look at me and he goes, "I don't know, was it?" And I'm like, "I think it was." And he'll start trying to pick out the things, right? And I said, "Well, here's the thing. There are things. Tom's Tom's probably read a whole lot more stuff than I am. So a reader like Tom can read something and go, "Oh yeah, that's not written by a person."
Yeah, you can sort of tell if you know.
How do you answer that? Well, you can just tell, right?
Because you're a human.
There's just something about it that you're just going, "Yeah, that's not right.
There's something that's off."
Yes.
I think
the subject is in the right place, the verb is in the right place, right? All of those things equal up, but
there's no soul to it, right?
I guess. I don't know. How do you answer that?
Because the thing is that there are, I mean, in much the same way that, criminals keep getting smarter and the law keeps struggling to play catch up with everything.
Right.
That they think they have boundaries set up, and then all of a sudden some smart criminal figures out a way around it. And I think that's where it's going to end up with AI, is that the law is going to keep chasing AI, and AI is going to keep staying one step ahead of it. But the litigation part and the legal part will eventually get incrementally better over time. I just will probably be dead by the time it's all settled.
Right. Yeah.
Which brings me back to my main point, which is if you can do it, creating your own stuff without AI that comes from your heart, that comes from your own ideas, whether it's writing or drawing or whatever, is the way to go.
Yeah. And the other thing to do is, if you are just a fan, you're like, hey, I don't make this stuff, right? I like it. If you know something is generated with AI, try not to support it, right? Support the stuff that you know is made by human beings, right?
Right.
And because we do still live in a market that is often dictated by dollars. And if Disney's not making money using AI generated stuff, guess what? They're going to go back to paying people.
And the thing is, the creative person cares. The robot doesn't care. We've seen it in 1,000 movies. The robot does not care.
No.
Nope. I like this question from Doug Curtis. He says, will there be a generation that will not be able to tell the difference between humans and AI? He says, I see it.
That's what I see too.
I do too.
I think that's where it's headed.
I do. And I don't think it's that far down the line.
No. People like me always think, oh, that's 30 years from now. It's like, no, that could be 3 weeks. That could be 3 months.
Yeah.
That could be,
It's bad. I mean, just look at when did it start around when the plague started coming out with ChatGPT, it was kind of crappy at the beginning, and it's only been 4 years.
Right.
Look how what it can write now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, is when it first came out, it's almost like a joke, and everybody's playing with it. Like,
Right.
Look what I made with the stupid.
Oh, Tommy was sending me, hey, look what I did. Hey, look what I did. Hey, look what I did.
Look how stupid this thing is.
Right.
But it's funny because everybody used it, and then everybody got used to it, and now it got better and better, and then
you punch something in there.
It's like somebody gave you heroin at school for free and said, hey kid, it's free, go play with it.
First one's
free. And now you're hooked.
Yeah, I see Poppy still here. Geekman says, howdy, y'all. What's up, Geekman? Thanks for hanging out with us. And then Pop says, hey, Pops, I see you're still hanging out with us.
Hey, Pops, did we do you right?
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully we did you right.
What about that song, Pops? We want to know where the song came from.
Yeah, he didn't comment on that, so I wonder if he missed
I
that
know. So like, is like the Chat GPT. I keep saying that, it doesn't make any sense whenever you say it. Yeah. Does it, like when you're doing the Google search and stuff, and it's using, Chat GPT to help come up with answers for you and stuff. That's pretty good, intelligent answer. Have you noticed that a lot of the Google stuff is a lot more informative than it had been in the past?
Yes.
They're using Chat GPT in that, or if you get stuck in a virtual chat with something, I'll start writing the person and the person's writing me back. And then eventually I'm going, that's not a person. Right. And then I go, is this a chat bot? And they go, well, of course it's not. And I'm like, okay, I know you are now. You're definitely a chat bot.
Well, yes, because you're lying to me. You're a lying robot.
Try this. I want you guys out there, out on the internet. If you're ever stuck in a chat thing, at some point, ask it for a recipe for cookies. I've done this before, and all of a sudden it will screw up the chat thing, and they'll give you a recipe for cookies, and then you'll know right then. Yeah,
well,
try it. No, try it. I want y'all to try it. You guys out there, next week, come back and tell us that you've tried this, and then I want you guys to try it. Get into some chat thing that you think is.
It's the
ask it for a recipe.
Like, when I go to a website and the little help bot pops up and says, "How can I help you?" That's as annoying as Clippy used to be when Clippy would pop up.
Oh my
gosh,
I remember that.
No, I don't want to talk to the robot. I would like to be left alone on the internet.
Right.
Please talk to. And I've argued with some. I was on like Amazon the other day trying to talk to person, and they weren't giving me the thing, and it kept answering, "Can I help you with anything else?" I'm like, "You're not a person." It didn't write back. Well, of course I'm a person. Who do you think I am? That's what a robot would say.
I'm in your house right now, Mr. Florimonte.
Give me a phone. Give me a phone number. I'm calling in.
I've sent the drones to your address.
This ain't right.
Pop says Norm sent that to me. He has an album. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then he follows that up with Pops does not make AI anything. I do
Good.
use stuff people send me if it is good.
Thank
so there you
you.
go. There's the answer to that.
Yeah, Roland, you were wrong.
Robert says, I started a little company called Skynet to use AI to help all mankind.
Oh, good for you, Robert.
Cool.
You're doing the Lord's work.
It's just sad that you can ask AI to come up with music and it can come up with something that good.
Yes.
Yeah,
it really will. I've seen some of them and played with a couple of them myself. Some of the music.
If you go down the rabbit hole of AI that can create good things or can be good creative, it does become scary because you realize that, because again, the audience doesn't care. The audience only cares about the entertainment. They don't care how movies are made. They don't care what goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
They don't care how special effects get made. All they care about is what's on the picture.
Right.
And that's the scary part.
They care about, I'm watching this. Does it make me happy? Does it tickle my?
Are all my endorphins and all my other stuff?
That's it.
Are they all happy and smiling?
Yeah. They just don't care. And I suspect that everybody who tunes into us does care, right? Because I think that's just who our people are. So I don't think that we're actually arguing with anybody on here.
No,
that's going to say,
you
guys are wrong. I want my AI.
The best comics are the quirky ones that come from an individual creator or group of creators who have like a message to say or a point of view or whatever. And I don't want to see a world where it's just all these sort of robotic AI comics that look alike, that everybody looks like wet candles, and
everything's stiff.
And everything is stiff, and everything is like, because old people like me can look at a comic and go, well, that's just FF54. Or that's just Spider-Man 73, or that's just Superman 296. And I don't want to see that in comics that I'm reading. I want to see the comics that I respond to are the new ones that really just knock me out.
That you haven't seen before.
You want to see a high level of effort in that work.
Because I remember when I first read Stray Bullets by David Lapham.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody could make that comic.
Right.
And when I read Bone by Jeff Smith, nobody could make that comic except Jeff Smith. Yeah. And Love and Rockets by the Hernandez brothers, nobody can make that except the Hernandez brothers. And that's that. And when John Byrne and Chris Claremont took over the X-Men, nobody could do X-Men like they were doing X-Men. And that's what I want to see in my comics.
Tom Mason's Wet Candles for
Wet Candles for Hire. That's funny. Listen, Roland, I want to pitch you my new book. My new book called The Wet Candle. The Wet Candle Kids. It's all AI. I've used all computer stuff.
Davis says Queen and the Beatles' surviving members have embraced AI to fix vocals from dead members of the band. I did not know that. That's I'm
weirded out by that.
Fixing. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
Stay broke.
Well, because
come up with something new. Let it stay broke.
That always feels like a money grab to me. That always just feels like we have a captive audience of Beatles fans, and two of them are dead. So how can we make some more money? It's like, hey, guess what? We found a vocal track. We can fix that.
Yeah.
Like,
now this is going to
remember
sound
when
like John
they
Lennon.
were worried they were going to holographically create a Tupac concert?
Yeah,
well, they're still going to do
they
that.
did, didn't they?
Whatever happened to that idea?
Y'all hear what Kiss is doing, right? You know, Kiss is basically gone on. They've retired again, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've retired.
They always do.
But no, they're going to continue to keep putting out records and albums and all that kind of stuff and concerts. They're just going to be it's going to be computer generated versions of them, so they don't actually have to go out there. No, that's
good because they're old, right?
That's a great. There's a great,
but at least it's them making their own
and they're
music.
controlling it. I think There's a great
It's not
Saturday Night
like
Live skit.
their estate
I
saying,
don't
I
think
want to
it's-
keep it going because
Well, I think it's
you
going to
know,
be Gene and Paul. I don't think it's going to be anybody else. It's just them two that are going to do all of it now, and they don't need a band anymore. It's just going to be them two sitting behind a keyboard making music. They're not actually going to record anything. They've got
That
their
just
voices recorded. They're just gonna fake it.
That just sounds like scrapbooking the
sounds-
memory of Kiss songs.
it does.
But but it is just Kiss, so they probably
Right.
could do it. And it probably
Well, the
sounds
entire
about the
Kiss
same.
members.
Oh, listen, the average age of a Kiss fan is dead, so it
That's
doesn't
true.
really matter. But there's a great Saturday Night Live skit called the Elvis Coat Show Tour, where they took a coat rack and they put Elvis's silver lame jacket on it, and they just sent it out to do a concert. And so they would play Elvis records. The joke was they would play Elvis records, and then the camera would swing around the coat as it hung on the coat rack and make it feel like it was moving, like you were really watching a concert. And that's what I feel we're getting if these people
Wow.
are just going to do a tour with their robot voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
David Escudero says Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley figured out how to make more money and cut out the other two guys. Well,
They
that's
have
bad.
always figured out a way to make
Yeah.
more money
Yeah.
and cut out the other guys.
That's
That
too bad.
sucks.
But they've been doing that forever, though, hadn't they?
Yeah. Well, they're like the first rock star act that was basically a toy store
Yeah.
where you could. They quit making real records and they just opened up merchandise stuff. So every time-
Gene is like sold out, and he'll tell you he's like sold out for, he'll put Kiss on caskets on anything. He'll sell anything.
it's
You pay
which
him
is
enough
interesting-
money.
Which is interesting because on the one hand, it prevents the rock act from sort of dropping off. Like it's suddenly like, in 1980.
And is there really something bad with that? No, I guess the people
I
still
don't.
buying it.
It's only bad because I'm not interested. It's not bad
Right.
because it's a bad idea. It's just that
Right.
Well,
because the thing is they're controlling it. It's not like if that's what they want to do with their image, they own their image and they own their
That's
licensing
right.
rights. So
You
go
know,
ahead.
people are still buying it.
And
Whatever.
I
Yeah,
would
people
say,
could protest it
I
if
would
they don't
say-
like it.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
that's
would also say that it helps by doing all of that. It helps keep their brand from being stolen.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, we're already
Yes,
doing that.
That's true.
Well,
You
and
know?
also it keeps the catalog of their music, as bad as it is, out in the public space.
That's right.
And so,
Mhm.
but again, it's because, and that's what I think it is. If the Kiss fans don't like what Kiss is doing, they'll stop supporting it,
Right.
Yeah.
and it will disappear. And that's how I feel about AI Comics. It's
Yeah.
if the audience doesn't show up,
Right.
AI
Mhm.
Comics will not become
They'll
a thing.
dry up.
Right.
And talking about Kiss here at the end of our stream, they're one of the first superhero bands.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
You remember that?
are.
in
That's right, because
Malibu?
of all of the, and they dressed up as superheroes, right?
What Kiss and Phantom of the
Third.
No, I just meant their look even before they,
was it
before
Phantom of the
the
something?
comics and all the stuff that they did in the movies and things. No,
Which
just
though-
their look when
although-
they were dressed up as superheroes
Yeah.
already.
Well,
That
although
movie
you
they
could
made.
say they took some of their look from David Bowie, who I think was dressed up as the as Ziggy Stardust, who was kind of a
Right.
superhero
Yeah.
looking guy. I think he did it. He may have done it first. I think credit goes to David Bowie, but Kiss just took it to that next
Right.
Yeah,
level.
they
Yeah.
sold the crap out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, all right. That's AI, and our clock has zoomed along.
Oh, look at that. We're way over.
We are way over.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah, that's
a lot of
Pop came
fun.
on there and told us to get off, is what he
it-
said. I think that's what
I'm
No.
sure we have more to say.
I'm
as
sure we could.
things get-
We could roll around for a while. Anybody got any final thoughts?
No, I was glad to see the points that Mr. Curtis brought up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's because his statements are real and valid, and I think that people share that, and I think we
so
all
too.
have those same concerns. So
Yeah.
And lastly, don't make fan comics, make your own.
That's right.
Yeah.
there we go.
And
Fan
I
of
want to go
art.
on the record to say
Fan of
that I
art.
don't use AI to do anything. I just like arguing the other side because everybody else is pooping on it. So somebody's got to argue to make our stream work. So,
again,
Cranky
Well,
for
and
Monty.
again,
Yeah,
I
so-
think that our point here, Pops, if you're still listening, was not that we like AI, not that we're advocating
No,
for it, but
I think
that
mostly
it's
garbage.
here,
But
and we can't stop
I think it's
it. So
interesting. I think
It
it's
is
really interesting. Yeah, and
So
it's,
how do
and
we
it's
deal
kind of
with it as
because I'm a
creators?
computer geek at heart. I think it's kind of cool, but it's garbage for the most part.
He says, "Sure, Tommy."
I think he's saying that he's just still here.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's doubting Mr. Tommy's sincerity.
All right. Anybody else have any final thoughts?
What's on the show Tuesday, Roland?
Well, let me tell you. On Tuesday, they're going to talk about that Silverline show. On Tuesday, they're going to talk about using historical vehicles and weapons in comics. The team discusses how you can use historical elements in comics, why you might want to do so, and what considerations you would want to make.
I would never do that.
That's Tuesday. Tom would say, just draw a great big car.
That's it.
That looks like the Jetsons, right? On Wednesday, the Wednesday Whammers are going to talk about the big con, how to promote yourself, sell your products, and network at cons and shows. A bonus do and don't list.
Roland, I swear, whenever you're reading off these things, it looks like we're on Saturday Night Live and you're reading a cue card from it, because you know how the actors will be up there and then somebody's looking over there to read the cue card. That's what you anyway. And then on
I'm reading my calendar.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. I swear, it looks like you're reading a cue card. BJ's holding up a cue card over there, having you read it.
I love that. We should set up that gag sometime.
Yeah. Whoops. That's next week. All right, y'all ready for this one?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Next week. What grinds Tom's gears?
Hey, that's right. It's the All Tom is a Jackass show.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Writer creator Tom Mason's gears are grinding. Don't you hear them? The Silver Sunday crew will grill Tom and find out what he really thinks about the comic industry. His opinions might surprise you.
Comics aren't coming back to the newsstand, and paper doesn't make comics cheaper. There.
Now we can go on to the week after.
We can go on the week after. That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who hung out with us and left comments here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, heart, whatever it is that you're going to do on the platform that you're watching us on. And again, thank you for hanging out with us. Until next week, remember to
make
mine
Silverline.
Good night, everyone.
I got mine.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline.